Hi there, it's Mark Dawson from the Self-Publishing Formula and the Self-Publishing Show, back again with the second of the two videos this year on my 2019 survey. So in video one, which you'll find elsewhere on the channel, you will have seen me look at the demographic information for my my readers, my newsletter subscribers, as per the survey in 2019. This time we're going to look at discoverability and visibility. So slightly more relevant probably for most writers in terms of how my readers have come to find me. Now, I don't think this is going to be particularly genre dependent. So again, I write thrillers and mysteries. This will likely be relevant to you if you write romances or historical fiction or fantasy or sci-fi or whatever it is that floats your boats. Most of these lessons I think will cut across all genres. So with that all being said, let's have a look at the fourth question that I asked in this year's survey. And that was quite straightforward. How did you discover Mark Dawson? How did you discover my books? So we had just under 5,500 responses to that. And the answers break down like this. The first one, or the biggest one, was an email from Amazon suggesting you might like Mark's books. So we'll have all have seen those. We will probably have had emails from Amazon recommending our own books to us, and that could be because we've been hanging around on our book pages a little bit and Amazon has noticed that, or we like similar kinds of books. Could be any number of reasons why that is. But readers are not doing that. They're not showing that slightly unusual behavior, obsessive behavior that authors show. They are looking for new books. So it's probably going to be those kind of also bought emails. So Amazon notices that you liked a thriller by James Patterson, and it thinks that you might also like a thriller by me. You get sent an email that suggests that. Now that has been effective for me. So as I said, nearly 23% of my readers came to me that way. So it underscores tons and tons of things about modern book marketing, and that it is very important to get Amazon working for you in that capacity. Nearly a quarter of my readers, at least surveyed, so you can probably extrapolate that out to most of my readers, have come in because Amazon has recommended my books to them. Now, it's beyond the scope of this video as to how we can engineer that, how we can get Amazon to send those emails out. And that's the kind of thing that we cover in the 101 and the Ads for Authors courses. But just to underline, it's important. It is very important to make sure that Amazon knows that our books are similar to other big authors, their books as well, so we can start to generate those emails from Amazon to find us new readers. And then very similar to that, so another 20%, 19.8% of readers came to me because they saw an Amazon also bought, and I've classified that, or I've defined that for readers. It's a bit of a term of art for writers, but I've defined that as you bought this, others bought this on an Amazon book page for another author. So people on the Lee Child book page, they see that carousel if it's appearing below the blurb usually, or below the sponsored carousel, which says readers who like this Lee Child book also bought this book, and in there will be books by other authors, including me sometimes. So we think that the also bought mechanism powers lots, or the algorithm that powers that is responsible for lots of marketing, organic marketing that Amazon does for us. But if you combine those two together, 20% and 23%, you're looking at 43% of my audience has come to me through Amazon. Now, that's one of the reasons I don't sell directly, because every sale I get on the platform increases my visibility, and at least as far as I'm concerned, increases the odds of Amazon marketing for me. And you can see how powerful that is. Nearly 45% of my readers have come into me through an Amazon recommendation of one sort or another. Okay, so the third biggest is a BookBub daily email. So we all know BookBub, we all love BookBub, we all hate BookBub sometimes because they're very hard to get. And I find it hard to get BookBub deals now that I am, at least at the moment, exclusive to Amazon. Do find that quite hard to get, but if you're in any doubt about how powerful they are powerful. Now, I should caveat this at this point by saying I think I've had 32 BookBub featured deals over the course of the last 5 or 6 years. So I've had probably more than most authors. So there would have been a lot of emails, millions of emails would have gone out featuring my books on deal, and a lot of readers, thousands of readers, will have taken those deals up. And of course, once they buy that book, it's on me at that point to convert them into readers who would then at some point in the future answer a survey like this, make my list, and then respond to the survey. But just under 20% of my readers have come in through a BookBub featured deal email. So or potentially also a BookBub ad on their emails. I've done quite a bit of that and continue to do quite a bit of that as well. So again, BookBub, we know they're powerful. This is an indication. A fifth of my readers have come in to me, come to the list from seeing a BookBub deal. So now, advertising, I'm well known for ads, and you won't be surprised to find that some of my readers, a good chunk of my readers, have come in through advertising. So Facebook ads, we're looking at 8.6%, and Amazon ads, we're looking at 9.5%. So just under 20% of my readers there have come in after seeing an ad either on Facebook or on Amazon. Now, I would suspect that some of those people who've answered Amazon there have mistaken an ad for an also bought. It's possible that that's happened, but over the last year or so, I have doubled down on Amazon ads whilst continuing to run a fairly consistent Facebook ad presence as well. But as you see there, 20%, just short of 20% coming in through ads. So that's another fifth of my audience, and that's something that we're able to have more control on. It's not difficult. It's not easy to get a BookBub deal, and it's not easy to get Amazon marketing for you at that kind of level, especially if you're fresh out of the gate. But you can advertise. There's no gatekeeper when it comes to running a Facebook ad, and the same thing goes for an Amazon ad as well. So that underlines, for me at least, why it's important to be advertising on those two platforms and BookBub as well. 6.3% come from a recommendation for a family member or friend. So that's gold really for me. The power of a personal recommendation, I'm struggling for my words there, is really really valuable, and just over 6% of my readers have come in from someone else recommending them. And I do see that quite a lot. I get emails from people saying they've turned my books over to family members or work colleagues or friends, and they've got into the books as well, and maybe they've joined the mailing list too. So again, that's not something that you can really influence much. I mean, you could put something in the back of your book recommending that people pass it on to family members. I always, or nearly always, put something in my emails suggesting that if a recipient knows someone who'd like my books, then why not forward the email on to those people? So you can do that, but the most important thing there is to write great books that readers love. You can't really engineer that. You've just got to work at your craft, and then when those books go out, provided that the readers enjoy them and they get to the end of the book, they have had a good experience with being in your world for a few hours, that's when you want them to recommend to friends. And I don't think you can engineer that. I think that's something that is purely organic, but at the same time, it is the best form of marketing. Word of mouth marketing is easily the best that you can get. All right, question number 5. So we're getting into good stuff here. We are looking now at what first attracted you to Mark Dawson's books. So this is, again, an interesting question, and so I always get slightly surprised by how these answers come back. Now, you would expect that the cover was the most important thing, because it is probably the first thing that people see. But in this case, that's not how it's played out. So 6% of people who responded said that the cover was the thing that first attracted them to my books. Now, I have gorgeous covers. I have been working with Stuart Bache for a number of years now, and Stu does incredible work, super talented, and my covers are on point. They meet the genre expectations. I love the covers, and there's some just over there and behind me. But even with all that being said, they only account for 6% of people who've come into the newsletter. So interesting, and perhaps a bit of a shibboleth there that we're able to at least let's analyze that. I still think covers are very, very important because they're appearing in ads. They need to stand out when people are searching. It's very important to do that, but perhaps not quite as important as we might give them credit for. Now the blurb, this was a little surprising, but the blurb was came back as 30% of respondents came back and said that the blurb was the thing that attracted that reader to my book. So 30%, that's an awful big chunk. A third of respondents said the blurb was important. Now, we love and we hate writing our blurbs. I am not an expert at that, but I think I'm pretty good. I can usually put together a pretty decent blurb, but what we can take away from this is that it's very important to spend time getting those blurbs right. It is difficult to distill 100,000 words down into a 250 or 300 word punchy blurb, but you'll see there from that response, at least for my books, that's the big caveat that I'll continue to say throughout these videos. For me, at least a third of my readers came in that way, or just under a third came in that way. So I need to spend time to make sure that those blurbs are correct. And then the biggest one out of all of the responses to that question, so what first attracted readers to my books, was the sample of the book, so the look inside. Or perhaps people were downloading samples onto their reading devices. And 35% of people said that was the most important. So again, this is, as we touched on before with word of mouth, once you get people into your writing, it is on you. You need to make sure that your books are punchy and enjoyable and the kinds of things that people want to continue to read, because people will do that. I do it all the time. I'm always looking at the look inside just to see whether that first 3 or 4 paragraph punch is writing that I think I will enjoy. And that's a pretty good indication there of how important that is. So you can listen to advertising experts until they are blue in the face. They are not going to be able to help you with that. So the punchiness of the writing, the quality of the writing, that is on you. And you need to spend time on your craft. And then good things will happen, and we can amplify those good things with things like ads and tickling algorithms and all of that kind of stuff that we talk about. But the quality of the writing is paramount. Nothing there that you didn't know already, I'm sure. And then finally, with 19.7%, so just under 20% of people said that they were attracted to my books by the reviews. So again, not stunningly surprising there that would be a good chunk, a fifth of the audience coming in that way through seeing my reviews. I've always been big on getting reviews. I'm always asking for reviews at the back of the book. I've got a great street team that help me with those kinds of things. I will sometimes even put out ads that ask for reviews to very, very warm traffic. So maybe my list or my Facebook fans, those kinds of audiences are very, very warm. And again, surprisingly, I talk about this in the courses quite a lot. If you explain why something is important to you and why it would be helpful, I think people are generally pretty nice. Maybe I'm optimistic, perhaps even a bit naive, but I think people will often do things like that to be helpful, especially if they understand, firstly, why it's helpful, and secondly, that it would help someone that they admire or someone whose books they enjoy. So again, just ask. It's something that indies do have trouble with sometimes, but you'll see there 20% of my readers came in through seeing my reviews. Would they have come in if I had no reviews? Possibly not. So pretty important to get that right. Okay, so that is the end of the second video. I will be back for the third one with a few questions just to kind of round off. But remember, to be notified of that video, just make sure you hit that bell icon below the video. All the links that you need will be below the video as well. And we've got tons of stuff on this channel. And as we push on through 2019, we intend to really up the quality and the content and the quantity, I should say, quality and the quantity of the videos that we're putting onto the SPF YouTube channel. So we would love to have you along for the ride as well. So hit that subscribe button, and I will be back next time with the final video in this series on my 2019 survey. Bye bye.